Refresh. There we go. Yeah, we're just gonna talk. We're gonna sing. We're gonna dance.
You can
Tell
tell
us how it
you're
goes.
taking this seriously because you're crowding the mic. Like I always. Oh, I can hear you in the background too because she's listening. And
Oh, she's.
I hate this. I hate having the echo. I can't even concentrate. I'm
You
going to
can-
lose my fucking mind.
Can you hear it on my mic?
Yes.
It sounds great though.
Okay.
I know.
Now she's responding to it.
You want to turn it down a little bit on yours just so you can hear it, but it doesn't make it all the way to my mic. Sorry, just turn your volume down just a bit.
I hate this shit.
Just give me your headphones.
Because then it'll come through my speakers. I need to be able to hear Nick. Yeah, we need to get you another pair of headphones. Sure.
This is how the
Okay, so that's
sausage
cool.
is made.
So let's just see.
That's
Just flip onto Odyssey. Close that. Oh,
I can't hear what
Okay.
you guys are.
that's fine. That's fine. She's got to find some headphones here real quick.
Okay. You're witnessing a podcast domestic, as we like to call it. So basically, for people, don't tune into this. Everyone, this is us just testing the stream, trying to get a sense of where the errors were with my audio on the last stream, because it was. I was telling you this before. It was really choppy in a strange way. It didn't even sound like lag. It sounded like it was cleanly chopped and skipping and not glitchy. So there's a few things we're trying to go through. One was like, is the connection bad? And I see on the platform, it shows my connection, network connection 10 out of 10. I'm right next to the range extender for the Wi-Fi. So I don't think it's a connection thing. It might be the platform. So we're doing this other stream, trying it out exactly as we did before. And we're just going to see if I'm fucked up. We'll try me hosting it, then we'll try Judith hosting it.
She says it's currently fine on both Odyssey and YouTube. No problem. Sounds great.
No problem. Sounds great. It might have been a one-night thing then.
Yep. I think somebody was saying in the chat that like you fixed that, but we didn't reboot Restream, and that's probably what it was, right?
Maybe.
If we had it rebooted.
Like it might have been like I just got back from a few days away, and maybe I just needed to flush the Wi-Fi.
Could be.
Yeah. So well, I'll tell you what I'll do. We'll keep us going for a while. I wanted us to talk for a while because sometimes I was going fine, and then when I get off on like a fucking rant, it'd piss off.
Yeah.
Stream would piss right in my mouth.
Right in your fucking mouth. Your
This
gay
was me.
mouth.
It's great that you're here to witness the sound effects too, because you're usually not. You're completely powerless.
I love it. I love being witness. I love.
All right, try it.
No, he says we're just gonna talk for a bit and see if it, because that's the other thing is sometimes it's fine, and then out of nowhere
Yeah,
it shits the bed. Yeah.
Yeah. See, the problem with the sound effects is it needs to be done in post because there's so many. I've got like 120 of these fucking things.
Oh no, Minoan is in the stream.
Of course
Hey,
it is.
Minoan, this is a test stream, my boy. Don't worry about it.
I imagine this just turned. Oh, now people are just showing up. Okay, well now it's an actual fucking stream.
We got more people listening to this fucking test than we had on the actual show. That means you're gay.
That's what we. If you're wondering what that sound effect was titled, it's titled "Gay Alarm." Oh, what's this one titled "Bwom"?
Yeah, that's good.
I got a very specific sorting system. Oh, Minoan's saying talk about the Dutch. I don't want to call Faust upon us.
You know what? I always get who's the ones that I actually don't like is the Danes. I don't like Danes from Denmark.
You know what? I'm going to be honest with you, and I shouldn't say this. I don't know why I am. I can't really tell the difference between most Scandinavians. Like in a lineup, usual suspects lineup.
They gotta tell you, they gotta tell you. If a Scandi walks in and he's like, "I'm from Norway," I'm like, "Oh, cool," and he's like, "Haha, only joking. I'm from Denmark."
Put a gun to my put a gun to my wife's head and ask me where Mads Mikkelsen's from, I'm gonna be a widow tomorrow.
Yeah. The north. He's from the north.
He's around there. He's in the circle. Let's say that.
Yeah, he's in the circle.
I'll tell you what bothers me about the circle. Scheming Dutch hands made that meme because it's like, oh, we're going to draw a circle around the angle and also the Dutch. I don't buy it.
It's I haven't seen the map, but based on your description, it seems like Doggerland would be right in the middle, like Atlantis.
Doggerland sounds like it could have been a slur for them at the time, and then we just forgot about it.
It's one of those things where they try to take back the slur. This is our word now, and actually, it means the Hyperborean super race. Like, no, it means you're fucking dog fuckers. No, it doesn't. You know, it
Think
means
about that.
Atlanteans.
Think about how many slurs that have been forgotten in the sands of time. How many? Think of how offended we could be if we were historically literate. I like that seems like a unique Anglo flex if we want to. Like, I've forgotten more slurs made for me than you remember. The one
like
for you.
The Roy Batty crying in the rain. All of these slurs lost like tears in the rain.
Yeah, the one scene from Blade Runner I remember.
The best scene. I think I remember probably every single scene. There's scenes in that I have been repeated in my dreams so many times that I don't know which one's real.
Are you saying, is this an Avril Lavigne confession we're getting again?
The original Blade Runner was my dad's favorite movie, so I watched that movie with my dad as a young kid like 100 times. Like,
and
it's
you
one
had
of
the
the only movies
wildest
that I watched
childhood.
that many times. I wasn't allowed to watch Batman and shit, but I was allowed to watch the original Blade Runner on repeat. So,
Fucking Gina's coming up to like us because we went to elementary school together. Him coming up into, or I think went to high school, but coming up like, you know, you can, if you sync up Smash Mouth's Astro Lounge to Blade Runner, just make everyone come over to your basement and have a bad time. So I think everyone's acting like, I'm glad I fixed the problem too.
yeah.
And even there's no lag right now, and we are
it's
streaming
great.
too. So
Yeah, that was the other thing. We had quite a bit of latency last time.
it might have just been that night, or like I needed to flush the Wi-Fi.
The other thing is I was trying to not drink, and I was also trying to like carefully clean my apps out and close everything, but I haven't. So maybe I should just leave all the shit running and drink.
Yeah, I don't know why you would stop drinking.
Well, I was trying to be on my
That's
best
what did
behavior
it.
for an initial stream.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
Never stop drinking.
Don't be like me. Don't make
know.
my mistake.
Yeah, don't make my mistake and get sober. Because the thing is, if you're sober, when anything's going wrong, you're like, well, I'm going to sit with this now. I'm going to sit with this until I guess I stop feeling bad on its own, because you can't do anything, right?
That's right.
I tell you, like that was. I don't even really think about drinking anymore, to be honest. And when I was at that Rob Zombie show, you would think, and I was by myself, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that part.
You were?
But by the way, so if people are wondering, I went to a Rob Zombie show alone.
What happened with Dime's wife?
Well, we had a plan originally where her mom was going to come and look after.
You told me that. That's right. I'm sorry. And you asked me, and I said
It was honestly an insane request where it's like, oh, do you want to drive into Toronto and look after our baby that's sleeping for like a bit? Like, it's just a massive inconvenient thing that I felt really dumb afterwards for even like, why would I ask my best friend this? Because I'm putting you in a position to say no to an obvious, like, no one, like, oh, do you want to help me move a piano? No.
Look, seriously though, in the future, we're near enough in your route that if you ever wanted to come and drop Nichols off at our place, we don't mind watching them. It depends. I know it depends on the scenario, because maybe you're going to be gone for a day or whatever, or you had a hotel or whatever. But yeah.
Can I tell you what my thought process was? That the concert would have been when he was asleep.
Yes.
So I said to my wife, I'm like, hypothetically, we could just leave him in the hotel room, both of us leave, and he's gonna be asleep. And of course, asking a mother to do that. But I'm very, very proud of her because she had said I considered the same thing. I said, "This is why we're together."
Yeah.
We didn't end up doing it, but we
It's a
ran
great way to
through.
lose your kids too, because if you have a hotel room, I mean, a toddler or an infant can easily scream loud enough to be heard from the hall, and if your neighbor finds that there's an unattended infant in the room, you're getting the fucking
I know.
CPA called. So
I know, but it's a hotel. They don't know where we can just leave.
fair, okay.
we can just leave the place. But yeah, so if the added layer to all of this is dimes. I went to a Rob Zombie show, ticket for one. But and then I went there and it's just a sea of goth girls, goth bitches.
Nice.
Like if you're into goth mids, I found the Holy Land.
Really? Still?
And
our age bracket or younger or what?
Every age. But not very young. I don't think they make young ones anymore. It's like our age and older. But then the rest is guys in Pantera shirts.
Nice. The best type of guys. One of the best categories of guy.
Yeah, a guy, and it's like 8-10 p.m. at night, and there's like one guy in his 50s wearing wraparound shades in front of me, just hacking up cigarettes, just lighting darts. Like that's the one thing you're not supposed to, like. I was laughing because other shows, they'll be smoking weed. You'll see a lot of everyone's fucking lighting up darts, and the Rob Zombie show just smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
And wearing their sunglasses, and like because it was Alice Cooper before Rob Zombie, so you could tell some of the older guys were just there for Alice Cooper, and it was a fantastic show. But then like there's guys who are like sitting down with their arms crossed for Rob Zombie, which is just a strange way to live your life.
Yeah.
Because it's a better part of the show. Like there's fucking pyrotechnics, there's monsters walking around, there's snow and everything, and it's just like no, I liked. If it's not I'm 18, then fuck it. But I'm not going home. I will say Alice Cooper for 75 years old puts on a fucking killer show. I suppose we should put something up. We could actually test this to see if
yeah, test everything.
if
Anything that we
got...
normally do on a stream. This is not a stream. You were all imagining this. Hey James. This is our podcast.
Non-stop ass rape!
Non-stop ass rape.
We're having fun. Let's see if I could. Okay. If what can I do here? I will pipe in. We need a producer is what we need. Okay, I can't. There's a way to I can't actually pipe in a window. I got to pipe in. Hold on.
You guys need to stream some photos.
Stream photos.
For all-
Vob says throw some photos up. Pretend we're doing meme review.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. She is the producer after all. Okay.
She's the producer. She's just the only one around here who fucking produces anything.
All right, just I'll go back to the thing we had yesterday, since this is now just the fucking show. So actually, what I can do.
Memes. He's this PC desktop meme. He's got a meme folder. I'm laughing at you pretending that I don't have an identical folder on my desktop.
Can I say something? I made that photo just for this episode. Yeah, this is basically what we were doing yesterday.
Bob Minoan says hello. I don't know if you can see the chat. Yeah.
Minoan's here. We didn't get to this one yesterday. What do you feel? Let me ask you this. What do you feel? I've heard the guys talk about this. Actually, Dave the Distributist was getting into a thing on Twitter about this, kind of waxing about like what is to be done about these women. How do we save the women? And I see memes like this, and I'm like, this doesn't feel like it's for women. Does that make sense? Like, this feels like it's for like us.
I wouldn't know because I'm not a woman. It's definitely for us. The question is whether or not it is also for women. And I don't know, Bob. Does this gel with you? Does it move you? I think my problem with it is the word just. As in, if you have kids and are married, you done it. How about not cheat on husband? How about lay off the SSRIs? Like, there's a lot of things. I could probably make a 100-point list. Like, kids in marriage are important. They're definitely near the top. But, like, because I know a lot of people who are married and have kids, and they're absolutely sacks of shit. So
True, and that's something we always come up against, where it's like, just have everyone have 9 kids. I'm like, has anyone known bad parents? Most parents I've known have been bad.
Yeah.
So what do we do? Like, I just have kids. That's all I do. I'm like, well, being a mom is actually really fucking hard and complicated to do right. Because I go outside and frankly, all I see is bad moms. I know 2 to 3 good moms. That is not even including my mom. Your mom is cool. I don't see your mom as a mom. I see your mom as like a cool lady.
Well, my mom is obviously my mom, but my mom is cool. But even my mom has all kinds. Like, I think my wife is a better mom than my mom.
Also, like, I don't say obviously your mom's. No, I didn't see her give birth to you. I don't know that she's your fucking mom.
Well, I mean, I'm telling you, she is.
Well, who the fuck are you?
Shit.
Monster. It's kind of over.
What a fucking dumb thing we're doing. Yeah, so we got a thing. Len Peel notes a test stream. No one be watching this right now. It's not like we're doing a show or anything.
No, this is not a show.
I honestly,
if it is, you're getting it for free.
Honestly, I really wonder what, because as you get older, like we're in our 30s now, you start seeing people change. I was really fucking myself up the other day thinking about what we're going to be like when we're 65, because we're placing a lot of bets early. Like a lot of the guys who have like big families and home, like an Owen Benjamin type guy, like big family, homesteader, do everything. Like, I don't know what that guy looks like when it's 75. I think I know what we hope it looks like, but I don't know. Like we're hoping that the kids raised in this wholesome way come out wholesomely. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. There's a lot of fucked up country girls, right?
For sure.
There's a lot of fucked up rural people. And I don't know what that looks like in 30 years when we don't have corn anymore. Like whatever fucking shit we're dealing with. When they're naming hurricanes after trans people now.
Yes.
They're giving the hurricanes non-binary names.
I feel like it was a gag that they named that recent hurricane Hillary. Like, who picks the names?
Honestly, every hurricane should be named Hillary. It's a very hurricane-like name. If your name is Hillary, you come from a long line of cunts.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be a bitch or a whore to name your daughter Hillary, and I assume that you were named something similar, like Rebecca. You give like given a real fat girl's name, like Samantha.
Samantha.
Tell you what, I don't care for ladies named Reagan.
Yeah, that's rough. That's pretty rough.
It's been.
Don't name your daughters after a president.
There's too many Reagans, and I see and they carry that. That's a real big chip on your shoulder. You give a girl named Reagan, frankly.
Can you imagine you go to the bar and you meet a girl named Biden Harris?
You meet a girl named Obama and Obama's husband.
Can you imagine meeting a woman named Michelle Obama?
It's like, oh, you got Q parents, don't you?
It's like, wow, you're the first person I've ever met named Michelle Obama.
Yeah, we've been giving our kids real political type names. I named my daughter Barack Hussein Obama's gay husband. That's a solid gold Judas fake laugh.
Holy shit.
That's what I sound like. Give me a break.
Give me a break.
Give me a break.
That's what you sound like. Oh, that is a fucking callback to when we were 16 years old. Who's in here? Oh, James Nope says his first girlfriend was named Reagan.
Nice.
Ooh.
Monster.
It's kind of over.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, first girlfriend. I mean, you're allowed to make mistakes with the first one.
Yeah. It's your runway.
It's a runway. What else we got? Oh yeah, let's remind people that this exists. I've been taking on this whole entire modern monetary theory arc we've been on. I've been eating my ass.
You've been eating your own ass?
Yeah, I don't say like I like to do it. I don't like to do it. That's why don't be bewildered.
I mean, it doesn't have to be that way. You're fighting a good fight here, you know. You're bringing this to the people. And it wasn't this way when you did the anarchy or the anything else. I do think it would be, I wouldn't say it's important, but if we like the way that it's generating conversation, then we could always go and do like hardline libertarian stuff or hardline Keynesian or whatever else that would get people pissing themselves for entertainment. Because we did the Marxist thing, and that honestly, how many books did we do on like Marxism? And it wasn't really, everybody's like, yeah, okay.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I read both volumes of Capital, and we got like one clip out of it. So,
Yeah.
like, the notes I have on this stuff are pretty extensive. But what I bring to the table, it's like, okay, what do you need to know? Because like the first volume is the one I found most interesting. All the Engels shit sucks.
Yeah.
Don't let Marxists tell you any different. Every Marxist will try and act like they don't like Marx, like they like everyone else, that some obscure friend of Marx.
Yeah.
Shut up. First of all. Second of all, die. Third of all, be a penis.
It's been
Man, I remember I got off on a rant like near the end of the last episode, and I got cut off, and I don't know if I want to do it again. Maybe I should, because it sounds like the stream is fine now.
Yeah,
if
it is.
it's not,
Yeah. What's your rant?
you know what? I don't know if it's possible to do the rant without calling out specific people.
I mean, it's all you, man. I don't give a fuck.
I know you would love
I
to call.
love it.
We got in trouble for saying Keith Woods is tall yesterday, so I don't want to fucking
Yeah, this is just an observational. Come on.
look. If you're not allowed to make fun of someone's shirt, then what are we even doing here? Let's
Yeah.
just pack it up and go home. Let's
Mhm.
be cops.
Yep.
Let's
Wait, no.
be
Hold on a
Latinx.
second. We're not. Whoa, buddy.
Look, if I can't make fun of a nigga's shirt, then let's be Latinx.
wicked sick.
Okay. Well, you know what? Let me just rehash this. So one thing. Let me just give me a second to figure out how I can do this without causing a shitstorm. Well, I guess the one thing I had noticed recently, because the episode started by me kind of talking about things that individuals can do to kind of more participate in the momentum of a movement instead of like shit talking it from the outside. I guess the other thing I want to talk about was influencers or people who are a bit higher up in status who are shit talking the rest of the scene. And I wanted to just start it by saying, like, whenever I criticize an individual, because we've done this on the show before, where we'll like softly criticize someone, the only reason I do it is usually because I have more in common with them.
Yeah.
And I gave the example of someone like Vaush. If you know who Vaush is, you've probably seen his videos.
Yeah.
I don't think about Vaush that much because I don't watch his content.
Mhm.
And to me, I don't even really see him as someone to like argue about, because to me, he's so far removed from what I would identify as human. It's like in a situation where like it's obvious to me that if I had how can I say this? Like if it were legal, he would be dead. You know what I mean? Like if it was like a civil war situation, like he is so much the opposite of me, and he's also a degenerate. He's also like he contributes nothing. He brings nothing to the table. So I don't even see him as like a guy. I see him as a homicide victim.
Yeah.
So, but like guys who we criticize, it's usually because I know them pretty well and I like most of what they're doing. So it can come across as sometimes they're being a bit too harsh, but it can only ever come from a place of love. For example, like with you listen to a lot of Avril Lavigne. So you probably have a lot of opinions about Avril Lavigne. Me, I don't listen to Avril Lavigne, so I can't tell Skater Boy from Love Sucks. Shit.
See, you were actually able to name 2 songs though.
Shit.
That's some ironic shit.
But yeah, so one thing I noticed was like I didn't like all of the people who are called schizos, people who are widely dismissed by there's a lot of dismissals that go on in our scene, and I would always say that the dissident right isn't really a movement per se; it's a pressure cooker of ideas. I was talking actually with one of the guys who are chatting this. So we're going to get into this in a future episode when we discuss The Square and the Tower, which is a fascinating book. It's about the prevalence of secret societies and decentralized sort of intelligentsia networks across time and their influence on things like the Enlightenment, the Bolshevik Revolution, and how you can break this down in graph theory and break it down into nodes and edges and intersections and show how intellectual movements kind of propagate regionally. It's fascinating stuff. But what you notice is something like the Enlightenment or something like the larger communist revolution, we tend to believe the mythology of it after it succeeds. But what you don't see is all the annoying, petty bullshit that goes into it. This is what was so interesting about reading about like Hitler's Revolution, that book by Richard Tidor, or any of that stuff where once you actually look at what was going on, there's a lot of bickering, there's a lot of infighting, there's a lot of guys who don't really get along, but they felt like they had to. There's a lot more conflict in these, and and usually most revolutions, even the American Revolution, you had what's the example he gave in the book was, and we'll get to this later in the episode, but one of the episodes in the future, but what was I always forget his name. It's the guy who's going, the British are coming.
Paul Revere.
Paul Revere, yeah. And it was saying that Paul Revere, he wasn't just a guy riding on a horseback. If you actually look at who he was this guy who knew everybody. So in graph theory, he was like a super node that connected to so many other nodes, because the American Revolution was actually like 12 separate groups that didn't really like each other, but it relies on these super nodes, these guys that kind of move between these groups that are kind of aligned, but not really. But these are the guys who are so crucial to getting them to work together. Anyway, point being that a lot of people look at this thing called the dissident right like, it doesn't make any sense. It's too conflicted. I'm like, well, no. Well, it should be, first of all. And it's not broken if it's like that. That's not so much a bug. That's more of a feature. All we need is maybe some more super nodes that get people to collaborate more. Anyway, point being that I think we do ourselves a disservice when we act like, when we're the one, we hang out with each other all the time and we're so adjacent to each other, but we think we're mortal enemies when we're really not. We probably have more in common than we might think, and there's more room for collaboration than we think. And when I see the word schizo be thrown around, I really don't like that. And there's people who I think should know better. And the comment I made was like, a lot of the guys who criticize the dissident right for being antisocial or being schizos, those individuals are fucking autistic weirdos themselves. Like, most people here are fucking weirdos. And oftentimes the people who get branded as schizos, for example, the QAnon people, for example, even like flat earthers, you actually look at these people, a lot of them have families, nice networks of friends, jobs. They're relatively normal people. The QAnon people are just like fallen conservatives, liberals. Like, the QAnon people are a bunch of dorks who just got red pilled. A lot of people forget what that feels like, and so they're kind of fumbling in the dark. And I'm like, I think we dismiss a lot of these groups or assume the worst of them. But if you actually look at them, a lot of it, they're not so far gone. They're not actually schizophrenic. And I don't like using that terminology like there's something they have fucking brain worms or something, when usually most of the time it's the people who have these big overarching opinions on the dissident right that are the most antisocial themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you actually, honestly, I'm not a flat earth guy, but if you talk to flat earthers, not all of them, some of them are just really abrasive for no reason, but if you actually talk to them, you'll be surprised how normal they are, and you can actually I get how they got there. I get how a person can get so into conspiracy theories that you end up on Hollow Earth, Flat Earth, all that stuff, because it is almost the logical conclusion if you understand that everything you've been told is a lie, which is a distinctly modern phenomenon. This is a distinctly modern situation. And again, I don't subscribe to that, but I get it. And if I get it, that means I can communicate with these people. And they're not actually like, if you want to see schizos, go watch Soft White Underbelly. You can see a rambling meth head who is disconnected from reality. And anyway, that was just my feeling that I don't like people banning about that phrase so much. Anyway, that was a bit of a rant, but let me know what you think about that.
No, I kind of agree. I think it's very dismissive to just call, and it's one of those things. It's one of those things also, like with the autism. I know I'm just kind of focusing on the idea of calling somebody a schizo, but we always say, "Oh, I'm so schizo. I'm so autistic." It's like those are actual mental disorders, and they're bad. Like people who actually have those disorders, they're fucking useless. Like they're not. It's not a good thing. Like it's supposed to be an insult, and then we've kind of captured it, and it's almost like, "Oh yeah, I'm the schizo theorist." Like yeah, but you don't want to actually be schizo though. Like you want what you're saying to actually be true. So we should not we should not just be calling everybody this way and that way a schizo or an autist, or unless I mean there are some legitimate autists.
And also I'm looking at the chat, and Minoan and James Nope, to his credit, they can kind of see, they have an example of someone. I like what Minoan said just here. He's referring to Academic Agent, a very popular and widely known content creator in our scene. I like the phrase, he's an anti-node or a node destroyer, and that is actually something I'm seeing. And I don't want to comment too much on, his content or his character or anything, but I do notice that he's on a campaign right now where he really, really hates Keith Woods for reasons that go back months and months and months. They used to be okay, then there was a falling out. Now, Academic Agent has been going around for months like some fucking busted ass mafia don, going to other people who communicate with Keith Woods and saying that if you associate with him, we're done. Bridge is burned. And then Thomas 777 kind of showed some text and AA was going and like, I like your content, but I cannot associate with you. If you choose this path, so be it. So first of all, assume the listening position. Imagine yourself as the type of guy who says the phrase, so be it.
It's a Pat Tomlinson kind of a phrase, yeah.
Again, like it's so be it. Or what? Or what, Nima? What the fuck are you gonna do? What is the consequence to me talking to another motherfucker? And that like Pete Kiones has it on. So I guess Pete Kiones doesn't get to talk to Academic Agent about his latest book where he talks about some other fucking authors. Amazing. We're really gonna fucking miss out there, Nima. Jesus fucking Christ. And like he's on Twitter. I'm talking to him on Twitter, and he's accusing Keith Woods of being a Fed. And I'm like, well, don't just fucking say that. Don't just call. And also, Keith Woods was famously calling people schizos before. Whatever. Like, I can disagree with both of them, but I don't And here's the thing: if you listen to Academic Agent, I don't give a shit. I'm not going to burn a bridge. I'm not going to fucking put you on a list. I'm not going to use it to mark against your fucking character because you listen to another guy's videos or you fucking talk to him. That is anti-node behavior. And that is actually a caustic personality trait for this sort of scene. Mm-hmm. And this is the exact type of guy you don't. And I've talked to him before. I've talked to Academic Agent a few times. And then he's always he's adamant that he's not a leader. He's told me, like, I'm not a leader. And anyone who's calling me a leader, tell them that they're wrong and point me in their direction. I'll correct them. Like, well, golly, you seem to spend a lot of your time telling people precisely what to fucking do.
Can I just be racist for a second? We're on YouTube, right? Or is this going to be bad?
Let me just say, originally we were going to be good because I was going to use this stream as evidence to the Restream people that there was a problem with their platform, and I had to consider that this would be seen by a lot of very tense-looking women later on, but not anymore. So let's see if we can thread the needle on this.
Okay, so the behavior that you know exactly what you're doing, and I know what you're doing, and you know that I know what you're doing, but you call it something with it as a shield. So you say like, I'm not trying to be a leader. Who would say that? You're crazy. You can't prove it. And it's like, we all know what's going on here. But this behavior, that doing that thing is it's a cultural behavior of a certain type of people that they love to do that. And it's the reason that when they call you from the call center, you usually hang the phone up. So
Yeah, it's something, I don't want to, it's, and to say he's laying it out on the floor. He's like carpeting the entire discourse in a bunch of aspersions, the veritable rug of negativity, which I don't endorse. And that's really, aside from like, again, no comment on his content, no comment on how whenever he's on a live stream, he sounds like he wants to fucking commit suicide. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about
that.
I'm not talking about like his love of pro wrestling. I'm not. Why would the fuck would I talk?
Bring any of that up? We're not talking about it.
What I'm talking about is the anti-node behavior. What I'm talking about is like deading people because they associate with a guy who, like, all Keith Woods did, my memory was shitpost a little bit. And if you're gonna start calling people a Fed, like everyone's saying he's got receipts, I want to see the fucking receipts, because let me summarize the argument made against Keith Woods. It's the fact that he has taken aim at the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, Israel's ADL, and he's still allowed to fly because they think that, you should be on a no-fly list for that. Like my thing was he's kind of doing a mainstream friendly version of this. And my take was people can criticize Jewish groups. Where you get in trouble is when you immediately start blaming, quote, the Jews. That's where you get in trouble. But you can criticize the fucking ADL. Like the fact that Keith Woods can still get on a plane, I think that doesn't scream suspicious to me. And I've talked to a few people. I'm like, it's like, I don't get like Eric Stryker saying it's suspicious. Well, Eric Stryker's done a lot of other shit other than criticize the ADL. Like, get fucking real. And again, like, nothing against Eric Stryker, but like the entire fucking NJP is scratching their fucking chin. Like, isn't it suspicious that Keith Woods? It's actually fucking not.
Yeah.
Not really. If you just look at, he's being a reply guy on Twitter saying the ADL is anti-free speech. That's not that. They say, oh, Nick Fuentes is on the no-fly list. A, he exaggerated how long he was on the no-fly list. B, like Nick Fuentes did a litany of other things that might have ended up on there. I'm not defending it. I'm saying these are two different situations. Yeah. And then also Nick Fuentes is not on a no-fly list, by the way. Actually, he was for like 5 minutes and then drew that out for a whole fucking year. According to him, this was like the news. And like, anyway, I'm not trying to get into that. Like he was, on a no-fly list for a minute. That's not good, of course, but this maybe he will later. But again, he's just being a kind of a reply guy on Twitter, and then it's turned into this thing. Anyways, but like that's not enough to start calling people a Fed, and you shouldn't just fucking do that. That's a serious thing to accuse someone of. I wouldn't do that. And I think if you're a serious person, you shouldn't just be throwing that fucking shit around.
And it's one of those things where like the reason that it's important to call people Feds is because if they actually are a Fed, everybody needs to know, because it's like calling somebody a pedophile. But likewise, you can use it as an insult because it's an incredibly damaging thing to say about somebody, to their reputation, right? And so then it's like, okay, so again, are we dealing with the type of guy, AA, who likes to just tar people because he wants to kick them down a notch because he's casting too large a shadow? Maybe, wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah, like the thing is, I'm trying. What I'm trying to be is a node. I want to be a good node. I think everyone should try and be a good node. Maybe you don't need to be a super node, but like, don't be the type that starts cutting people off or encouraging them to cut other people off. And if there's any behavioral trait that I think people should watch out for, that's kind of cult behavior too. I'm not calling them a cult, but that's one thing cults do, is like they try and cut you off from others. Like, just don't stand for that. Just and if someone's coming to you and saying that someone's a Fed and saying they have receipts and they're not being immediately forthcoming with it, like, you're not allowed to be cute or coy about these accusations. This is serious shit. Like, we are in a scene where people, there can be Feds around collecting information. People can go to fucking jail. talk to Jeremy McKenzie. He's fighting for his life right now. Like I'm not cute with this stuff. I don't like it. So you're a non-serious person if you're just like throwing the shit around because you got some fucking you're being a woman about beef.
Yeah. Don't ever be a woman about beef.
Don't be a woman. Don't touch beef if you're a woman, by the way.
Yeah. Stay out of my beef.
And by the way, if you're a woman, if you find yourself locked into a beef freezer, you deserve to be there. You shouldn't have been within 1,000 yards.
Don't question it.
Let me just say the past like 20 minutes was exactly what I didn't want to do. But like I was discussing this on Twitter with some people. Like like what? Come on, this is dumb. This is a dumb thing that's happening, guys. Let's just fucking stop with this. So it's public now and whatever. And I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of friends and colleagues who are in that circle, and I'm like, good, you should be. I'm happy for you. I'm not the type of person who demands that you like stand on this side of a line when we are on the side that has so many lines drawn around us. Yeah. Right? Like, how much of a minority do you want to be? Ask yourself that. If this was kind of what led me to this was we were talking about. I was just in the mall in Toronto. And I was looking around at all the different types of guys you see, Indian guys, Asian guys. And in our scene, we talk about the masculinity crisis on the right. It's usually in the context of white men. And it's true. But man, if you look at fucking Indian and Asian guys, they're all emasculated. They're all effeminate. They're all dweebs. And then I realized, my God, that's most of the planet.
Yep.
Consider that most of the planet is gay men right now. Like, and just like not even like effeminate flaming homosexuals, but just like kind of squirrely, meek, not cool, kind of just neutral, like the NPCs. An effeminate NPC, that's most guys. And so if you're like a white guy who like kind of wants to lift, you're a minority of a minority of a minority. Like we're already in such a small space globally that I think just to keep drawing these fucking lines and severing node connections, I'm like, you want to just be like 12 guys? This is like the Taliban kind of going further and further into the mountains. Like we're the most Muslim. I'm like, well, it seems. Let me tell you this: it does not seem anti-fragile. That sort of way to organize. And that's what I was saying. Like that entire rant was like me looking around. I'm like, there's a lot of people who start fights with us by dismissing. Like, how many people on the right want to like throw down anyone who is like still talking about COVID? Like anyone who talks about COVID's a schizo. I'm like, fuck you. Like that really grinds my fucking gears. Like, don't just these huge swathes of people. Don't tell huge swathes of people to go fuck themselves. Like, how much of a smaller box do you want to put yourself in? We already don't have a lot of friends over here. We already have like the government trying to fucking get us. Now you're trying to like be like a mafia within a fucking refugee movement. Like, fuck off. Anyway, I'm repeating myself now.
Everybody just be cool. Everybody just be cool.
Can everyone just have sex?
Hey guys, have sex. On me.
Holy shit.
On the house. Have sex on the house.
Have sex. That was my favorite. I was laughing the other day where we were doing this thing back when we were in high school where we'd go to a restaurant, like a group of friends, and then we'd eat a big meal. And then we just start chanting on the house, and like get all the servers and get like the guy who owns the restaurant, be like, no, not on the house. Like look at him in the eyes. Yeah, on the house. What's he gonna do?
Waiter. Yeah.
Like, is that a threat? Is it like, what is? Are we the house? All right, we got James Nope here in the chat saying, let's kick out anyone who puts on the left shoe first. Got me thinking, got me sweating over here now.
You know what? Take it all back. He's right. Get rid of him.
I'm like, do I do that?
The left shoe first? I always go right shoe because I'm right-handed.
I couldn't tell you which one I put on first, though.
I think that's because you're left shoe and you're fucking lying.
Okay, I'm not a liar. If I see what you did there, he was trying to be sneaky. This is an old Judas sneakeroo. He's trying to get me to admit that I do it.
Amazing.
Do you ever think about those old content creators? You know what I was thinking about the other day? Like, I should tune into Stefan Molyneux.
Ugh.
What's he up to? He was
Is
gone.
Is he around?
He's got to be. Like, he's like something on Rumble, I bet. But I was like, hey, man, remember Jesse Lee Peterson? Like all these guys who were like the alt-light sort of guys. I'm like, they're still around, right?
Jesse Lee Peters is always confusing me because he's so incoherent, and everything that he says is like you can tell he's one of these room reader guys who just like he's just looking around. What is everybody in this sphere? My target demographic. What do they like? And he just points at like Officer Tatum is another one with similar complexion. Who's just like, is that crazy? What do you guys? Is that crazy or what? Wow, my mind is blown. I cannot even believe this is happening. And it's like, yeah, let's say something.
It's me.
Wow,
amazing, Jesse Lee walking.
Jesse Lee walking.
Amazing.
No, really, like, just fucking say something. You know?
Hey, you're black. Why you talking if you're black? It's me, Jesse Lee walking.
Amazing.
I'm just reaching for sound effects at this point. I was just very proud of that character that we came up with.
That's good.
Another character I had, I didn't know how to fit in the last one. This one's so much better than our last stream. It's not even funny.
And it's proof too, in case anybody doesn't believe us, that when we do the show, we're pretty much just fucking talking.
There's me like this, I got no notes for this one. We are just fucking riffing right now.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot planned.
I had a character that I wrote down. I forget what the context was, but it was like, "Hey, it's me, Putty Radiohead." Everybody, it's me, Putty Radiohead. What was his job? I have it.
God damn it.
I had it saved here. Everyone, Judas, keep everyone busy with some content. I have to scroll for. I said, "Hey, it's me, Putty Radiohead from the Scaring the Host department."
Scaring the host department.
Scaring the hose department.
Scaring the hose department. Oh, no.
Humiliation.
What I should have put in was the "you get nothing."
This is it's the Spencer Putty. Is that what it is? Putty Radiohead?
Yeah, it's the evolution of Spencer Putty.
It's the new Spencer Putty is Putty Radiohead. The thing that made Spencer Putty so good was saying it's essentially just doing retard voice and then saying dumb shit that Spencer would say.
Well, see, this is a classic error, classic Judas mistake. What many would describe as a fool's error. David Putty from Seinfeld was not an idiot. He was a caveman of some repute, but he wasn't stupid. You can't be stupid and sell cars.
I never watched Seinfeld.
He's never seen Seinfeld. He doesn't know what I'm talking about.
I tried to watch. You know what? Because I think you warned me about this, but I tried to watch the first season, and we got through like maybe 1.5 episodes. Like this show fucking sucks.
Yeah, don't. Okay, I'm gonna do to you what I did with Dime's Wife. You don't start with the first season. What you do is you start with like a couple from season 4, a couple from season, throw in one from the last season. You gotta do a scatter shot of them.
And it's like, now hold on a second. Then how is this a good show? If it's like, oh no, it's a great show if you only watch like 15% of the episodes that are just random.
No. Again, you're making such an ass of yourself right now. You don't know anything about what you're talking about.
Development was solid gold front to back. Okay, that was a good show.
At the same time, if I'm saying someone gets in Arrested Development, I say, you know what, start at season 2.
Really?
I'd say, well, let me hold on. Do I believe what I just said? Let me check.
You do. I think you're full of it.
You know what? I think I'm full of shit.
Yeah, season 1 was it was all right. It wasn't the best season, but it was entertaining.
You know what? I might be full of shit.
You fucked up. It's so wonderful.
Yeah, let's just talk. We're just talking about stuff we like. This is just the stream when I don't have. Oh, it's a book report. Talking about fucking shows. Okay, first of all, I am gonna get you into Seinfeld. I got a plan. I got in our shared document, I got a mixtape of Radiohead songs that I have ready at a moment's notice. If anyone wants to get into Radiohead, I got you covered. I'm going to get another list of Seinfeld episodes. I'm going to start with 5. If you don't like the first 2, you tell me to go fuck myself. Spoiler alert, you're not gonna, because you're going to be hooked.
Oh,
It takes a while for Kramer to become Kramer. That's all I'm going to say.
What does that mean?
Again, you don't got the context. This is also a guy who's never watched The Simpsons, by the way.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed. I was allowed to watch Infinite Blade Runner, but never The Simpsons.
That's such a fun. You had such a hilarious childhood.
It is rather fucked. A little bit messed up.
It sounds like your dad was like really into good movies, though.
Oh yeah. Well,
did
wasn't a
you
big
ever?
movie watcher, but the stuff I remember watching with him are still some of my favorite movies. So
Well, did you ever read the book? Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
no, I haven't.
Honestly, I would recommend that. I know this is a very pretentious thing to say, but it's so much better than the movie. Like the movie's good. Like I'm not like an anti Blade Runner advocate, but the book takes such a different angle to it. It's almost unrecognizable. I think that was on purpose. Like the movie took like one chunk of it and made like a very hyper stylized film noir type thing. But like the book adds, there's this whole other dimension of the character of Decker. I believe he's even called Decker. Is it Decker or Deckard?
Deckard.
Deckard.
Deckard?
Yeah.
I thought it was.
I'm getting on cinema at the cinema mixed up. But there's like this whole angle where they live on Earth, and then a lot of people have left Earth, and it's only like these straggler communities. And he's a cop, and he starts off. He's living in this suburban home, and he's got a wife, and his wife doesn't like him, and he's got a sheep, and the one status symbol that they have on Earth is if you could own an animal, if you have a pet, like if you're really rich, you have a live animal. But if you're kind of middle class or lower middle class, you have like an android animal that's supposed to look real, but you can tell that it's not. And he's extremely jealous of his neighbors who have like a real sheep. And he's got this bullshit electric sheep. And like all he wants, and he's convinced that if he can afford like a real animal, his wife will respect him again. So that's how this book starts. And that's how he takes on this job to find these androids, because he's a cop and all the cops make shit money. The way you make money is by hunting down these replicants who are taking refuge on Earth, which is just like a ghost planet at this point. There's like abandoned cities, and it's like a ghost town where like 5 people still technically live there. And that's what he does. It's like really, really dangerous. He's a bounty hunter, but like that's his entire motivation for doing it. He's like this like lower middle class guy who just wants his wife to fuck him again. And like again, it's such a different story, and you like his character a bit more. And there's this whole other metaphysical angle to it. Like a lot of these sci-fi books, by the end of it, it becomes like a psychedelic dream sequence. But it's a relatively short book. I give it a shot. I think you'll really like it.
I probably will. Who wrote that? Is it Asimov?
Yes.
I feel like it must have been.
I'm looking at it right now.
Because I remember the connection is I know Asimov.
Philip K. Dick.
Philip K. Dick. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, but I read. I have a whole bunch of sci-fi I'm supposed to get to. I read Foundation as well, and I didn't care for Foundation that much, to be honest. So
I liked it. I enjoyed reading it. The same as Ringworld, but like they're not good books. It's pulp. Like it's trashy pulp, but it's nice. It's like it's fun. It's fun at space adventure pulp, but it's not good. Asimov is a fucking atrocious writer. He's so bad. It's like he's a shockingly bad writer, in my opinion. And I've read a lot of Asimov because I actually enjoy reading his writing, but like it's most of what he writes is like tongue-in-cheek, over-sexualized, thoughtless pulp. So
let me just say, I hate Ringworld, and I have never had such a bad time reading a sci-fi book.
Ringworld's retarded. Ringworld is like every chapter has a new Deus Ex Machina to get them out of a stupid, plot wormhole that he didn't think about because he's on LSD when he's fucking writing it. But also fun. You know, it's a lot of fun.
Oh, got Spatch here in the chat saying the Foundation TV show blows. That's good to know because I was willing to give it a chance, but I won't now.
I'm still watching it. You know what? I find the same thing about the Foundation show as the book. I enjoy watching it. Does it make a lot of sense? No. Is it well written or acted? There's a couple of actors in it I like, but the two main like Foundation chicks are like Ethiopian and like an American black, and the Ethiopian actress is not great, but she's not atrocious. But the black chick, the black American black chick they picked, is straight up autistic. Like she can't even put a sentence together. She's fucking retarded, and she's a horrible actress. It's like you should actually look up clips on YouTube or something of this chick. It's like a high school performance, honestly. Like she
Do we have her
cannot act.
name? Do we got a name?
don't know.
What should
It's
I
It's
find?
Black Chicken Foundation.
So I'm going to DuckDuckGo Foundation Black Bitch. Let's see here. Ooh, a Reddit thread. Let's see what they say. Oh, Fatman. It's a fat guy holding a mic.
Lee Harvey. Her name's Lee Harvey.
Okay.
Leah.
Oh,
She plays Salver Hardin.
They always have to spell their names different, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I'm trying to recognize because there's this one black chick, this one black actor who I fucking hate, who's in everything right now. She was in this show called The Bear, which I know you haven't watched, but there's this like she's a terrible actor, but I see her as the next big thing. Okay, let's have a look at her. Seeing a hairdo, I don't like. I guess I should fucking open this up. We're on a stream. Okay, so let's not be shoddy. Let's
have a look.
Get this going. Okay, where am I? What am I doing? Where's my stream? Okay, let's turn this off. Let us. Okay, so this is her. Can you, oh, wait. You cannot see just yet. This is her.
That's her.
That's a Lee Harvey. That's a real Lee Harvey looking lady.
Real Lee Harvey. That's her. Yes.
Might I say, a real Lee Harvey looking bitch.
She's a big old oof. But get a video clip of her or something, because it's just like hold on, I'll see if I can find a link. Something where she has to actually emote, especially when she has to look like frustrated or disappointed or frightened. She just kind of, her jaw just drops a little bit and she kind of wobbles her head around like like an autistic person, like a person. I think it's not even that she can't act. I bet she's uncomfortable to be around. Like if you're gonna go to the bar and you're her friend, she's always making the wrong facial expressions. Like she's broken. Where did this woman come from?
It's really hard to find clips of this show. It's all just her on red carpets. That cannot be a good sign.
Oh yeah.
Right? Oh, wait. Oh, there's a kiss scene. Is this a gay? No, it's a straight kiss, both a black female. From the looks of it, part gay.
Just a little bit gay.
You know what? Here's a new type of racism you could roll out if you wanted to. I haven't tried this in the wild, but I think you could piss black people off by saying that the men and the women have the same haircuts. Give that a shot. Okay, I'm trying to. All I got is the scene of her like kissing. Hold on.
Here, I got one. I'm sending it in here to the private chat. This is a scene with her talking to Harry Seldon. It's just not the greatest scene, but you can kind of see she's trying to be like, get information out of him. She's trying to like, huh? No, I'm not running the stream, but Dimes can do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it just.
He cares too.
Eine Minuten. So you can see it. Here we go. Can you hear it?
Yes.
Gail will handle Tellem. I was just hurting our chances. My toes are in fine, cool water.
It's hard seeing her with like a real actor.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, that's the thing. There's like Terrence Mann is in it too. There's some actors that are actually good. Like a lot of the stuff that happens on Transfer, like in the Imperial, like the Empire, whoever guy, is actually decent.
more or
But
less.
this stuff is really awful out in the
Putting it in a
foundation
body just
section.
made you more vulnerable.
This is like putting a gay man's severed ass beside Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Yes. Yeah. It is.
You're about to tell me.
Great example. Great
Yes.
simile.
Just it came to me in a thought.
In service of my gospel, a messianic story requires death and resurrection.
So much pathos in his delivery.
I know.
That's what the vault is.
All right. Well, your wager is to the right answer.
Please.
The opposite. Maybe someone was worried.
I'm riled up right now. Look at this.
Someone
It's like watching a piece of Wagyu beef be, you know, stepped on.
Just-
Yeah.
yeah.
I just don't want her to forget.
Give the Wagyu beef
There
to
are
the
people
the
on all those
intern
planets she
who's
saved.
teppanyaki chef.
It's like watching a meth addict try and put a piece of Wagyu beef in a stiletto shoe.
And then stick it into his arm, between his fingers.
Could be salvaged, but at what cost? It really bums me out that there's that type of haircut in the future.
There's some bad haircuts in the future, man. You would not believe.
So if you're not to blame, then who is?
Oh, there's no simple answer to that one. Sal.
She furrowed her brow in a vain attempt to understand the situation.
Easier than facing the truth.
The truth being that Rachel
Oh.
knew everything.
Oh, acting.
He knew they were doomed. He kept it to himself. He still chose to be with her.
I wonder what it's like being her and knowing that there's guys like us just making fun of her.
You think she knows?
I bet she's watching this right now. Here's what you do to give her a complex. Say you were only cast because of your relatively normal nose.
Who cares too much what you
Yeah.
think of her?
You can
You know-
implant a nice little trauma inside her.
You know, look at her face. The chick from what's the 80s horror series with the kids that they go into the upside down and the
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. So the white chick from Stranger Things, that's like her name's 11 or something like that, right? Like the main girl. She looks like that, only black. Like if you look at her facial structure, she almost doesn't have black facial structure. I think you're probably right that she's black, but she's not like offensively black. And the same thing, the other chick that they cast, like Ethiopian, she again has like a very narrow nose and chin. Like she's almost a very white skull, but then she's brown and has a British accent. And anyway,
There's this one woman who has ruined a show for me that I was gonna give a chance to, but I no longer can. It is. Hold on. It is this woman who is in this new show. She was Crazy Eyes in Orange is the New Black, and she's in this new show called Painkiller, which is the story of OxyContin. And she plays like they cast her because she just looks like a big hunk of shit, but she's like the spunky young like a social worker who's trying to take down the Sackler family, and they don't really give her any flaws. If anything, she's too driven and too good, but she takes up most of the entire show, and she actually can be a good actor, but she found herself a self-righteous role.
Yeah.
Where a lot of these types of women anything that what's her name that Olivia, the one who was in The Woman King, you know what I'm talking about, they're not going to give her a role where she's an idiot. She needs to be the most powerful woman in the room.
You know what happened with this bitch is after she applied for the role, they kept sending her rejection letters as fast as they could, but they kept going between her teeth.
Like I keep seeing Patrice O'Neill mouth. Viola Davis is the name. It's like every role you get has to be powerful. It has to be, important. But anyway, also that show Painkiller, it's about OxyContin, and it's about the Sackler family. I thought it took a daring choice of at least partially trying to humanize the Sackler family. I didn't want to come out the other side wanting to know more about the Sacklers, but when every other scene is just her, you're like, okay, let me see the mass murderers.
It's like, shit, maybe the Sacklers are actually all right. Fuck.
Can I just say this? I got a bit of a dangerous opinion.
Like, you're a big Sackler head now?
Am I a Sackler head? Am I ride or die for the Sacklers? A lot of people are asking this question. People ask me every day, are you the top guy of the Sacklers? I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no. But really, no, I'm not. No one like, I'm not a big pharma guy. However, I'm operating within the framework of the show.
Yeah.
So I never read a biography about any of them. But what's interesting is that there's nothing that really separates the Sacklers from the rest of the pharmaceutical industry. And what are they guilty of? Well, they're guilty of creating OxyContin. They tasked themselves with creating the most potent painkiller on earth. And the way he described it in the show, and I can believe that they would believe this in real life, is that they're trying to cure pain. You know, they want to live in a world where no one needs to feel pain. And that might sound nefarious to us, but that's what every pharmaceutical company believes. That's what most scientists believe. They would like to, curing disease, curing what ails humans. Right now, the members of the longevity movement, most billionaires on earth, and a not small amount of scientists are literally trying to cure death right now. That's what most people, like, imagine yourself. This isn't even like an evil person thing to do. You do not need to be evil to want to remove suffering from the human experience, or that's how they see it. So I look at the Sacklers, I'm like, yes, you are capitalist dogs. Yes, you are multi-billionaires who are getting people hooked on a drug that is destroying their lives. However, I don't believe that the Sacklers are alone in that. And it's hard for me to draw a division between them and pretty much all of their peers. You know what I mean? Like, I look at the Sacklers saying that we want to get people hooked on this because we believe it can make pain go away for everyone, and that's what humanity deserves. I look at that, I'm like, I think that's bad, but also I'm a far right extremist. I can believe that your average liberal would also like that. You see what I'm saying? I know this is kind of a muddied point, but I'm also like, the Sacklers are bad, but then so is the entire pharmaceutical industry in a sense. What do you think about that? Am I crucified currently?
I mean, I don't like to get into or I do, but I don't like to muddy the water between what their motivations are and then what the effects are. Like, I'm firmly on the side of you pay for what happens, not what you intended to happen.
Fair enough.
If you intended for everybody to live in a pain-free utopia, that's fantastic. If what you actually did, like what the result was, is the absolute destruction of millions of people's lives through addiction and deaths of deprivation, you should be publicly executed. So I don't care. I don't care what you were trying to do, but you killed a million people, so you should die.
I think we found the gooey center of this, the gooey centrist point of this, which is that I forgive them, but they should die.
Yeah. And then James is saying, how about the Sacklers should not have been allowed to do what they did, but every victim played a part in their own demise. Absolutely true. A lot of those victims weren't really victims, but we shouldn't have had to. We shouldn't look. Here's the thing. My take on the drug problem, part of it is almost eugenic. I don't really mind if the mutants who never really should have been survived to adulthood and only did because of modern medicine. I don't mind if they die of deaths of deprivation and addiction. What I mind is having them in the street when my normal kids have to go to fucking school. So I don't want the addiction problem is a problem. I don't care about the addicts. It's a problem for us. It's a problem for normal people. It's a problem for civilization. So like you need to get those people out of the society, but you also need to get the drugs out. Like it's a complex issue. There's some nuance there.
There's a lot of nuance. There's a lot of complex going on right here. You know what? What I think is actually a really complicated situation.
It's a complicated situation.
I was talking to one of the friends of the show just recently, and what you said just triggered a remembrance of that, which is that, and I guess this ties into our earlier point in the episode about this political sphere being more of like a pressure cooker of ideas of conflict, and the conflict is a feature, not a bug. So is the Western world and Europe specifically. I know Edward Dutton has spoken on this a few times about how, I believe it was his theory, and Alt Hype, I believe, also discussed this, that the harsh Darwinian conditions, and this is my phrasing, but like the harsh Darwinian conditions that we impose on ourselves as European stock from a distance could be interpreted as eugenicist, meaning that the war, not just like famines, because you can look towards Asia and you could say 100 million people died over the course of however many years, but that was like famine, that was peasant bullshit. This is war, this is executions, this is a very distinct European treatment of imprisonment and prosecution, to the point where, I believe it was like an Alt Hype video or a Dutton video where they said, like, we tended to weed out the genetic stock that was the most antisocial and criminal, and over time that had a eugenic effect on the European stock, more so than the rest of the world. And so there's a case to be made that my position was, and I want to hear the feedback on this. It's that we are very good at separating the wheat from the chaff, and I don't think we can really stop doing that. And I don't think, and this is the point, that I don't think true collectivism fits the temperaments of the Western or European mind, not in the same way that's being proposed in the East or even in Africa. That like we're collectivists in the sense of community or of tribe or maybe of nation, but this idea of like it just doesn't seem to take. Like there's a streak of rebellion, of individualism, of not being homogenous. And that conflict and that sort of division, the Dunbar's number, like the Dunbar number in Europe, I think is more significant than in the rest of the world. And that true class-based collectivism can never take place. And that I think that's kind of our destiny, and that we're always being hard on ourselves. And I think the idea at the heart of collectivism is that we should remove all harsh Darwinian conditions and all eugenicist impulses or pressures within society. And I think in Europe, at least, and maybe this is me being a bit too grandiose, but in Europe, at least, I think that's gotten us to where we are today. And I think we do ourselves a disservice if we stop being hard on each other, if we stop saying that there's certain dregs of society and they should just fucking die, for one reason or another. That sounds harsh. That sounds like something you're not supposed to say, especially as I think white people, especially the experience of white people in America, in North America, is like, yeah, we don't want to always uplift our lowest common denominator. Black people do. Black people will always defend a black person no matter what they do. If they're a fucking criminal rapist, but they get shot by the cops, they'll defend them. But we will actually look at a white guy who's like on crack and get shot by the cops and say, you know what? They probably deserve that. And I think that is unique to us. And we'll say, like, why do we do that? No one else does that. But like, you know what? There might be unintended benefits of us being okay with certain genetic dead ends kind of going away, not killing them, but not always trying to drag them back. Anyway, does that make any sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that was just something I was picking away at, and I'm not prescribing any solution or any plan or process, but that was just something I keep coming back. It's always a fact to try and keep in my mind that the harsh Darwinian conditions can be our friend. It can be ugly, but we're kind of used to that. That's how we raise our kids, or that's how we used to raise our kids before. Like I said, everyone in the world's gay now.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't know how Indian people raise their kids. I couldn't tell you. Maybe when I was a kid, very, very young in kindergarten, I had like all kinds of multi-ethnic friends, and I had these two Indian kids that I was friends with, and I distinctly remember going over to their apartment, and it was in like a low-income part of town, and I didn't know this at the time. Like, you're a kid, you're going over to your friend's house, but I remember walking in. And this might have been one of my first memories. I remember like, what's that smell?
Yep.
In my I don't know how old I had been, less than 10. In my childish voice in the head, I'm going, "Bitch, you live like this?" And I remember just like loud Indian music playing, and it smelled, and I'm like, "But this isn't where families live. They live in houses, right? Like they don't live where it's messy." But that was like my first introduction to like how they live, like 7 to a room or whatever it is. But like my mind was like when you're a kid, all you have is that feeling like something's wrong. I need to go now. Like it triggered the stranger danger part of my brain.
Yeah, yeah.
Then they eventually moved away, I assume, back to India.
I had similar experiences. I remember I had friends' houses where it's like, oh man, some people live like this. This is so wonderful. Like I had a friend who was his parents were Ukrainian actually. It's just funny in retrospect, but they were quite wealthy, and they both parents cooked all the time, and it was always smelled like cabbage rolls and sausage and nice clean house. And then I also had a friend who was half Jamaican. And his dad was Jamaican, and going over to his place, and it's like, damn, I can't believe people live like this. And like never wanting to hang out there. Like, go over to see him. He's like, yeah, hey, you want to play? Sure. You want to come in for a minute? Now I'll wait out here. I'll see you in a minute.
Imagine young Judas with his hands in his pockets doing the Charlie Brown walk home. Like, damn, people really live like they're black.
Nobody told me.
Damn, you live like you're black. But yeah, like I love that we had such a rainbow coalition of friends growing up, and now look at us. Now we're just friends with a smattering of schizo Europeans. I'm allowed to say that. That's our word. You don't get to say that word. That's our. I'm taking it back. Only true schizos are allowed to call each other schizos.
I'm gonna go get a beer. You can keep talking.
Oh no, without my sounding board, I don't know what's a good or bad point. If Judas isn't here, you have no idea the esoteric stuff that I can get into. So let's have a look at the chat. What's going on here? I don't even know if this... Ooh, I can actually show these. Okay. James Nope says, figures. Good point. Guess what he also says? Absolutely. Classic James. Also like this one. Minoan, social workers have the lowest IQs of all majors. Hey, I believe it. Also what Minoan says, those teeth. Yeah, right.
We're back.
I'm just going through
the chat. We can do that now because we have a chat.
I'm trying to see if anyone was owning you in the chat, and it doesn't look like it.
I'm unownable.
How do I take that out? Okay. Let me try this out. So you can support the show. Join the Gumroad for exclusive content. See, I don't know if
nice.
Judas' wife, if Bob is still there. Someone see if you can scan that. It should work.
Can you scan that, Bob?
So, it tells me someone scanned the QR code. Sweet. Psych.
Beauty.
Man, I guess I could show the chat. What else? Anyway, I guess we should probably get going soon. This really did turn into another episode, but I'm more happy with this one than the last one.
It's literally the stream.
What was that? What'd you say?
Where does it go to? Where's it supposed to go to?
It's supposed to go to the Gumroad.
Where does it actually go?
I don't know.
Did you scan it?
I didn't scan it.
Oh, she's just because she missed it. It went up and then it went away.
Okay. Well, someone did, so I hope it goes somewhere. It's supposed to go to our Gumroad. So, by the way, if people, we have a Gumroad. Pay there $5 a month. Support the show. You get access to the first 100 episodes of Blood Satellite. You also get access to all kinds of extra content, news updates, and it's going to be home to a new sort of sister show that we start where I'm going to be going through some of the emails and questions that we receive in the show. So if you have a question you would like answered by myself or even Judas, we're going to be recording these really simple videos, responding, answering them, helping people out, anything, even business related, entrepreneurial, marketing related, whatever you want to know, just give us something that you're comfortable being read to people. And it'll be really fun. Yeah, $5 a month. It goes towards the show. All this good stuff. All this is, I am in the hole like you wouldn't believe.
That's right.
I don't know what it feels like to not lose money. But that's also like the Eastern European side where it's like any boon is suspicious.
Yeah.
And I can tell it's a good episode because I think we might have made an enemy this one. I hope we didn't. I hope people aren't too mad at me.
Who Chief Keef?
No, not him. We defended him. He shouldn't be mad at us.
Yes. Oh, AA.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
No,
He's listening. He's listening right now.
I hope no one listens to this episode, but all right. So I think we're probably going to call it right now. But
Yep.
okay, everything went good, and I'm very happy. All right. So
Superb.
thanks everyone. I'll
Nice.
talk to you soon.
Take care, man.